Hello, namaste. I am in the middle of a channeling, and I was directed to share this channeling with you real time for me. So I'm going to tap right in. And yes, I'm chewing gum. It's part of who I'm tapping into energetically, okay? So, this is a conversation with my higher self to my human self, which for you listening, this would be your higher self having a conversation with your consciousness, okay, your human self. Right now, you are coming into a season of life that you have been praying for and asking for. You have gone through the spiritual warfare. You have done the healing work. You have been through karmic lesson after karmic lesson. You've come up against devils and demons. You've danced with your shadow self. You've opened your third eye to seeing this world as it truly is. You have pushed yourself to live consciously through the being of love. You have begun to understand and learn that love is your state of being. It's not a thing you do. There's no nice labels you can slap on love, because love is all-encompassing. It is how we experience the world around us. We either experience it through the rejection of love, which is fear, or we choose to live through love and conquer that fear. You have got to a place in your healing where you've been working on manifesting. You've been working on your manifestations. You've tuned into the moon cycles, and you are beginning to understand that magic exists within our own belief. So you're embracing magic as real. You're understanding that magic is simply the manipulation of energy flow. You've gotten to a place where you understand that your vibrational frequency affects the flow of energy in your physical world, in the 3D world. And you've seen real world examples of how this works. When you choose to have conscious awareness and choose to have your thoughts and your actions be in alignment of that energy of love, then you notice that the energetic flow is good. You attract more beautiful experiences into your life. And you've also understood through experience that when you are choosing to get caught up in your ego and forget that you're a divine being, you start letting certain human emotions take over through that ego mind. That lowers your vibration and that vibrational frequency, and now you start attracting more of that vibration that you're on. And you've begun to understand that you are in control of that. And it's as simple, but not easy, as being consciously aware in every moment and then anchoring to your personal beliefs. When you've gone through this healing process, when you've gone through this spiritual journey, you have adapted and transformed your belief system according to what has worked and what hasn't, what makes sense and what doesn't, and on a core level, what feels right in your spirit. So it's been adjusting and transforming as time has gone by. And you have started practicing that when you get into a moment, because you're living your life consciously aware, so you understand that when you get into a moment where things are not feeling right, they feel off, you feel depressed, or you feel angry, or you're noticing a lot of stuff going on that's uncomfortable in the world around you, your experiences are becoming more negative, you are now more in tune with your self-awareness. And it kind of snaps you back to reality, and you are remembering, oh, I know I feel this way in this moment, but what does my core belief say? I'll give you an example for those listening, okay? My kids have been dealing with lice. And it started last year with my son when he was in preschool. And in the 18 years prior to that, I had never dealt with lice. Not even once. And since my son got that lice last year, it has been nonstop. We'll think we got rid of it, we'll be good, and then all of a sudden it shows up again. And the school has... Okay, I'm not even going to go into that because that's going to lower the energy. But I was really pissed this last time because I literally spent hours doing the treatments and checking through my kids' hair. I have 6 kids, okay? So it takes a long time to thoroughly check because you have to use the comb, and then you have to go back with your fingers if you missed any of the little nits and stuff like that and the eggs and stuff. It's very tedious. It's expensive to do all of the... I'm going to pause this for a sec. Sorry, FedEx just dropped off a package. So I just exploded. I was angry. I mean, I was hitting I was driving, and the school called and said, you got to come back and get your kids. They all have lice still. I was livid. I was filled with rage. I mean, I was hitting my steering wheel. I was screaming at God. And then I ended up, being really rude to the people at the school. I did end up apologizing for that today, but I was just, and totally in my ego, totally forgetting that I'm a divine being and all that stuff. So once I was able to calm down and refocus myself and my energy wasn't just, I started remembering my own belief system. And I started checking back in with myself and realizing, wow, I was really letting that get to me. And in the grand scheme of things, it's not a big deal. And if it's happening, there must be a reason, because my belief system is everything happens with purpose, even if we don't understand it, even if it's uncomfortable. So as I started checking back in with my beliefs, that fear started going away. That anger started dissipating. And what we call that is transmutation of the energy, because what I was doing is, by anchoring into my beliefs of what I know to be true, is that was putting me back into the energy of trust and faith, which is also part of love, okay? And that's also when I came to my senses about how I treated everybody and realized, oh, I'm going to have to apologize to them because that was not cool of me to act that way. So now we're going back to our higher self talking to our lower self. So you have come a long way in your journey, and along the way, when it comes to manifestations, one of the things that's been holding you back from receiving these manifestations is your disbelief. And this is one of the hardest things to push through, because they're saying, use the lotto as an example. Let's say you believe you're going to win the lotto. You're telling yourself, I'm going to win the lotto, right? And I'm just using that because that's like everyone always wants to win the lotto, right? So you're telling yourself this, and then you convince yourself that, okay, I'm manifesting this. It's going to happen. This time I'm winning the lotto. And then you don't win the lotto. You convinced yourself that you were going to, and then you didn't. And that created doubt. The problem was you were trying to convince yourself of something. When we manifest, the first most important thing is we have to manifest from a place of alignment. Okay? Which means your thoughts need to be in alignment. The words you are speaking needs to be in alignment. Your beliefs need to be in alignment. Your actions need to be in alignment. If any of those are off, the manifestation is not going to come through because it creates a blockage to that energy flow. Disbelief is a huge blockage. It's like throwing a giant rock in the pipe, okay? And what you've gotten really good at is trusting your beliefs. Trusting your discernment. Is this thing that I'm trying to manifest, is this really what I need and want? Or is this just me being in my ego, like being greedy or whatever? The other thing is you're remembering that when you're manifesting things, you don't need to worry about how it's going to come in. That's the whole point of manifesting. If you weren't doing that, you'd just be, trusting your ego and doing everything the 3D way, which there's nothing wrong with that. That's how the world moves right now. But those of us that are subscribing to the manifestation way of doing things understand that the divine is magic. You remember that the divine created all of this out of nothing. You think it can't handle bringing you some blessings? Okay? So, you have that moment where you remember that you are magic. You are the divine. You are source experiencing itself through a character it's made. But that magic within you has always been there. You're learning to tap into that now. Now, you asked for a period of rest and restoration because you understand that this next chapter of your life is about the mission that you agree to as a soul when you decided to reincarnate. Okay? You understand that up until this point, from birth to now, has been preparation for the next season of your life. But the divine understands that sometimes when you've been in battle after battle after battle, you need a pause before you go into war. And the war that you're going to be going into, it's not a physical war. It's a spiritual war. But it's not a bad war. It's a war to wake up humanity. It's a war to remind those darker forces who's in charge. What is that saying? Love wins. Truth always prevails. These darker forces that have been in control and had this illusion of power projected over us as a whole on the human planet, the energy has been out of balance for a long time. You know that. And now it's time for that energy to come back into balance. The analogy I gave the other day was the moon was out and it was beautiful, and it was nighttime, and there was these clouds that were kind of going in front of it, and I was watching these clouds go in front of it, and all of a sudden the clouds completely covered the moon. Now, I knew the moon was still there, but it appeared that it was gone. So the darkness that is on this planet, the darkness, the shadow within ourselves, is just to remind us that the light within is never fully gone. Just because we can't see it at the moment, just because it's being covered, doesn't mean it's gone. Light is always more powerful than the dark. It illuminates. It illuminates the illusions. And you have figured this out. And this has made you so powerful. And the warfare that you've been receiving up into these blessings, see, this is what happens. When you're about to get blessings in your life, that's when the warfare in the spiritual realm is the hardest, because they don't want you receiving these blessings. Not because they care that you're getting a new car or a new home or that new job. They don't care about that. They'll give that to anybody. It's because once you realize how powerful you are, once those manifestations come to fruition and you realize that you did that through your beliefs and your trust in the divine, you become infinitely more powerful than the dark could ever be. And they know that. And so dark forces out there, well, the closer you are to that manifestation coming to fruition, the harder they're going to hit you with what they think will knock you off of your pedestal. And so, like for me, I've been doing really well. I've been conquering a lot. I've been making it through some very difficult situations. And this is a time of year where I usually really struggle. And there's just been a lot going on. And so all these little attacks, I mean, lice of all things, it's just a fucking tiny little bug. And it was setting me off. And then I had the realization that that's not me being in control. I'm letting something else be in control of me. What am I doing? What am I doing? You're stronger than that. We didn't put you through the last 8 years of hell for you to get derailed by a fucking bug. You know? It's like, really? Come on. You're stronger than that. I know we're talking about bugs and now I'm all paranoid. I'm feeling stuff in my hair. I don't have it, just so you know. So, this season that you've been praying for, the season of rest, a season of not having to try hard, and your ego is going to say, the conditioning of your ego is going to say, oh, you're lazy if you're not trying hard, you're this, you're that. No. You've just been through an extended period of non-stop battle. You have wounds. Your body, your energy, your mind, your heart, your chakras, everything needs to have a period of rest so that it can heal up and strengthen for what's really coming. Because what you're about to step into, you had to be at a certain level in order to be able to handle what's going to be thrown your way. And it's going to be, I'm hearing the word relentless. And it's not, and these forces are going to use people. They're going to use they're going to throw everything and the kitchen sink at you to try to knock you off your game because of what you are going to be doing in the world. The impact you're going to have is going to be a ripple effect, and they have to stop that. And so if you've noticed over time that the warfare techniques have changed as you became strong and this particular thing stopped working on you, they would change it up. Like I'm thinking of all the dream warfare you've been under, right? The dream state for our physical body is actually the spiritual realm for our energetic body, right? So that's the real reality. This is the co-created physical realm, but where our spirit actually lives is in the spiritual realm, right? So, you know, you've been under constant spiritual warfare. They've tried to manipulate your physical environment. They've used people through entity attachments to try to derail you and mess you up. And in some cases, even to get you to the point where you would take yourself out. You know, that's all very real. And you are now at a point in your journey where you understand this. And through that constant faith and trust in your process and in your beliefs and in the divine, you have made it through each of these trials. and tribulations that have been thrown at you, and the quote unquote enemy has been doing it to try to weaken you without realizing that the divine had been allowing this to help strengthen you. And now you've taken those bricks and you've built this fortress, and you're impenetrable. And even if they can temporarily disarm your shields, it's not very long before you recover and put those shields back up. Your bounce back time is phenomenal now, So you're becoming very powerful in the spirit, and you've been cloaked this whole time. You are the person that people overlook. They don't take you serious. They think the things you believe in are a joke. They might make fun of you behind your back. You might have had a lot of families and friends isolate from you because they don't understand what you understand. And it's not that you believe you're better than anyone else. It's just that when your eyes are open to the truth, you no longer can see things the same. It's impossible. Once those rose-colored glasses come off and you see the truth, you can't unsee it. But they're not there yet. And inside of you have so much compassion and empathy for them because you were there not too long ago. You understand what it's like to be of this world and just have your whole existence and identity wrapped up in everything in this physical realm. You're not there anymore. But you've been in this limbo, this state of flux as you've been growing and learning, and people around you are looking at you and they don't see your worth and value. They don't see what you're capable of because you had to isolate yourself. You had to pull back from a lot of things in your life, and that didn't make sense to them. But it made sense to you because you understood that if you were being guided to this, that there was a purpose behind it, and you trusted. And any other person that would have faltered on that trust and given in to what they believe is the right thing to do according to what they've learned and been programmed to believe in society or in their religion or in their culture. You did the hard thing and you broke away from that, and you decided to start thinking for yourself. What is true for me? What feels right to me? And you started living by those truths. And you became a better person for it. Better all around. Because your beliefs are centered around the truth of love. And you can't go wrong with that. It doesn't matter where you're from. And so now, the divine is gifting you those things that your human self were desiring to be more comfortable while you're here on the planet doing your mission. New house, steady income, might be a new car, all the physical things that you've desired in order to make life a little easier while you're on this planet. The divine doesn't blink an eye at giving that to you. They've been waiting for you to step into your power. They are celebrating you right now because they already knew you would get there eventually. They knew because they could see it. You couldn't see it for yourself yet. And the minute you step into that power of knowing, you can't unstep back. And that's what those darker forces have been trying to stop, because they understand that once you step into that knowing of who you are as a divine being, they'll never be able to knock you off ever again. They know that. And see, there are people on this planet that have this divine knowledge, but because they didn't do the healing work and they have been living their life through ego, they are using this knowledge to suppress others out of fear of people rising up. They're obsessed with power and greed. And they keep thinking they need more and more. And what are they trying to do? They're trying to fill a void within them, and they don't realize that void that they're feeling, that they think more power and control will fill, that void is just an illusion of a shadow. If they would just plug into the divine and turn on that love, they would see it was within them the whole time. They haven't figured it out yet. Many of those souls are going through repeated karmic cycles for generations and generations, creating generational curses on people. That's why our planet is the way it is. And you are breaking those generational curses by being bold and speaking your truth unapologetically. You are showing others how to do the same. You are showing others how freeing it is to live authentically, to not care what other people think. You are magic, my dear, magic. And you light up the room when you walk in. And it's not because you're particularly pretty or handsome. You may be average. You may be looked down upon as not the prettiest person in the room or the most handsome person in the room. Maybe you have some weight on you. Maybe you're too skinny. I don't know. That shit don't matter when you have the divine light within you. And that is the point. The divine created us all so differently and uniquely for a purpose. If we all looked the same and if we were all beautiful, we wouldn't appreciate beauty. Beauty is not in whether your eyes are perfectly spaced and your lips are a certain size and your clothes fit a certain way. That can change. I tell my kids this all the time. You could be the most prettiest girl in school and then get in an accident and be horribly disfigured. What do you have left? If all you relied on was your looks, what's left? You got to have character, morals and values, and be a good person, because that's what's going to carry you, not your looks, not how much money you have. You could lose all that and hardly think that. My heart goes out to all the people that were affected by recent, storms and hurricanes and things like that. These people lost everything in the blink of an eye. They didn't wake up one day and think, oh, tomorrow I'm going to lose my entire life. I bet you a bunch of those people are going through ego deaths right now, respectfully. Their whole lives are being ripped away from them, and God's showing them, you're more than what this was. Your identity is not those things. Your identity is not the job you have or the amount of friends you have on social media or, how good you look. I don't know, just all those ego things. None of that shit matters on a soul level. On a soul level, we are all the same. We are all love. A great verse for that. It's not all encompassing, but it's a great verse, is 1 Corinthians 13 about what love is in the Bible, in the Christian Bible. That's a great passage explaining, and I'm going to tell you, I had a personal experience that made me experience love in such a way that I can't even put it into words. So that chapter in the Bible just is like the tip of the iceberg of what it feels like when you are experiencing true, divine, unconditional love. It's something that will change your life forever, and you have access to it within yourself. And when you figure that out and you connect into that, your life changes exponentially. These blessings that are coming are going to allow you to rest. You're going to get to have a period of restoration within your family. For me, it's working on things within my life that have to do with being a better mom. Also things to do with becoming more professional, sharpening those skills. Things that are going to be in preparation for this next chapter that I'm going into. This period of rest is going to allow us to have a breather, work on our health, because Spirit's going to really need us to be strong mentally, physically, and spiritually. We've been kind of working on fumes the last 8 years. So now this is going to be a period of time to strengthen, to focus on that strengthening. so that when we step into the new chapter, we're at full life force, right? So many of you might have been experiencing a lot of activity in your solar plexus chakra. So what I'm hearing to tell you is that's our gut microbiome. Yeah, that word. And that directly roots up into our brain, which is what helps us with, having good memory, having sharp thinking skills, everything that we need to be able to function in a physical society, right? So right now there's going to be a call to focus on healing your internal body. You can look skinny on the outside, you can even look in shape on the outside, but you know that if you're not feeding your body the proper fuel, your internal organs are not looking too good. Okay? You're running them down, you're going to make them fail prematurely. Like, there needs to be a focus on really loving your body. And I don't mean loving as in accepting the fact that you look a certain way. I mean loving your body. And what would you feed your kids? Would you feed them junk food all the time and candy and fast food all the time, knowing that's making them sick, knowing them that's going to make them prone to disease? Is that loving them? You're setting them up to fail in life. Loving them is showing them how to eat healthy, showing them why it's important to feed your body good foods, teaching them to be active. That's loving your kids. You need to be doing that for yourself. That doesn't mean you need to go on a crash diet. That doesn't mean you need to, starve yourself. And no, it just means take it more serious. Baby steps. Our human brain has to do things in baby steps. We have to delete old programming that we've learned up to this point that's deeply ingrained, and we have to reprogram with healthier habits. And that takes time. So be gentle on yourself. You're trying to essentially reprogram an old computer, okay? Because as you're raising your vibration, everything in your body, the vibration's going to start to rise in your body. Your body's needs are going to begin to change as you do that. As your body starts to activate with that soul frequency, you're going to notice certain foods might make you sick. What you used to eat, you may not be able to eat anymore. Maybe watching TV just doesn't do it for you anymore. Scrolling on TikTok doesn't do it for you anymore. Like, you're going to start to notice changes in your body and in your way of thinking because you're tapped in. And the energy of love doesn't make room for those types of things because they're time wasters. They're making you sick. They're making you sick. They're making your mind sick. They're making your body sick. So there's no room for that when you're tapped into divine love. Divine love says, hey, we're not going to do this to our body anymore. We're going to choose differently. And that's a process. So just allow it to happen. Give it permission to permeate in your life. Allow it to guide you through your conscious decisions. And then reward yourself. Pat yourself on the back when you make a good choice. When you put the phone down and you decide to pick a book and read. When you choose to walk by the candy aisle and you were tempted to grab a Snickers and you decided against it, that's still a victory. You made a better choice. Get in the habit of doing that all the time. And you have to be self-aware and conscious in the moment. That's why it's so important to be present in the moment, every moment, because that's where, the darkness slips in, is in those moments where you're not paying attention. You're not being consciously aware of what's going on. That's when that darkness slips in and starts to permeate into your thoughts. And it's very sneaky. But you are at a point where you know that. And you've got really good with that. You can tell when it's happening. You catch it quickly. You rebound from that quickly. You have made so much progress, and I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of you because you didn't give up. Despite people thinking you're weird, despite people thinking you're crazy, despite all the challenges that have been thrown at you, almost daily it seems, you know, the people you've lost in your life, the things you've had to mourn and grieve, the connections, all of that. You didn't let that destroy you. You used that as an opportunity to learn and grow and become who you are now. And you're only going to continue to heal and grow more beautiful and more powerful as you open up to the divine and allow them to guide you on this path that you're on. Allow those blessings to come. Stop doubting. Don't give your power over to doubt. Give yourself permission to believe in the miracle and amazing, fucking awesome universe. You know, you look around and think, God, if the universe can create this out of nothing, surely it's not that hard to bless me with some minimal things, right? Give yourself permission to be okay with wanting those things, you know, and give yourself permission to believe the divine is already blessing you with it. Don't entertain the doubt. You have a choice. You can choose to entertain the doubt, knowing that if you do that, then that is what you'll receive as doubt. Or you can choose to entertain the belief in knowing that you deserve these blessings and that you already have them. That's hard to do because as humans, we're programmed to I'll believe it when I see it. You can't do that anymore. You have to believe it before you see it. And that's very powerful. So, very proud of you. Your love team is in the ethers right now, just celebrating because these blessings are like, I'm getting the image of them being packaged up, beautiful, shiny ribbons, and just like when you receive these blessings, it's going to exceed what you asked for because the divine is so proud of you and so happy that you have decided to trust in this process because of the divine knows what you don't know. The divine knows the amount of people that you are impacting on this planet simply by choosing to be authentically you. It all boiled down to a choice to be authentic, to live in truth, to live through love. That decision is creating ripples across realities and timelines. You don't understand the gravity of the situation. And your love team does. And your love team is just so excited and they can't wait to see your face when you receive these blessings because your heart's going to explode with gratitude and they know that. They know how grateful of a person you are and that's why they are so happy to grant you these blessings. And these blessings may not come the way you expect. And that's part of it because you're a very intuitive person. You're the kind of person it's hard to surprise because you are very in tune with things. So it's very hard to surprise you. They know that. So the way they have done this is, I feel the word I'm seeing a fox, so I'm seeing sneaky. Like they had to be sneaky because they really want to surprise you because they know how much you enjoy a good surprise because it's so hard to do it. So the way they plan on delivering these to you is going to be in a way that's going to catch you off guard in a positive way, and it's just going to put a smile on your face ear to ear, and there's going to be so much joy overflowing in your heart, and you're going to feel so grateful in that moment. You're going to create like a shock wave of this energy when this gift comes to you. Like it's just going to be, the image I'm getting is just like this on the planet, like, and it's not going to be a visual thing, okay? It's going to be in the spiritual realm. And I feel like and by the way, I'm hearing you're not the only one this is happening for, okay? I am seeing that 144 in my mind's eye, but I'm seeing these little shockwaves happening all over the globe right now for people just like you who are sent here at this time to help raise the vibration of the planet. It's this energy is so strong. Like tapping into it, I'm buzzing. It's a very beautiful, beautiful energy, and I'm hearing, they couldn't have done it without you. The divine needs souls to volunteer into the human experience in order to bring the vibration, to raise that vibration for humanity. And they understand how big of an undertaking that is for a soul to agree to do that, because that means your human character is going to go through hell on earth. And it's not easy. Most people would not willingly sign up for this if they were looking at this through their ego perspective. On a soul level, you agreed to this because you could see the outcome. You could see the amount of love that this was going to bring into the world. And so you had faith that your human person would make it through. So congratulate yourself. As a human being, congratulate yourself, because you have stuck through unimaginable things in order to get to this point. You have a purpose, and it's divine, and it's beautiful, and the divine loves you, and your love team loves you, and I love you, and I thank you so much for hanging out for 41 minutes. This was not intended to be a long message, but I do thank you for hanging out. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Namaste.